Awesome. Guys, I'm going to be spraying a fire hose. I'm going to ask that you pay as much attention as you can because it's going to go very fast. It's going to be a lot of information. I know a lot of you have seen the business model canvas before, but trust me, I'm going to give you a whole new, different perspective to what this tool is and how you can actually use it to strategically position yourself as well as to innovate something that could potentially be a disruption for your industry. Okay. Who has used the business model canvas before? Hands up? Okay, very few, so I guess a lot of you will be seeing this for the first time. Again, I've been doing this for quite some time now. As Stu said, I'm KK Diaz, I'm a business coach. I'm a 3 times published author. I've developed quite a few methodologies in the SME development space. I've been in the trenches myself. I've been doing this for just over 10 years at least officially in terms of supporting small businesses. However, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 9 years old. I've literally been doing it for 39 years, for 30 years at least, because at least the government says I'm 39, I believe I'm 40 years old. Okay, that's a conversation for another day. All right, so what my business does, we provide support in helping SMEs and businesses, large businesses alike, and I'll show you in the next slide or so, the type of businesses and the range that we work with. However, the work we do, formulating business strategies, what I'm showing you today is one of those sessions that you want to use in formulating your business strategy, starting with your business model, okay? Because you want to do your business model first, and then see how you can then at least formulate a business strategy that can help you take that business model to the next level. All right, maybe let me just speak to this. Yes, we do coaching one-on-one in group. In some cases, we do business coaching in this type of environment where it would be group coaching and customer success, CRM stuff, quite a few things that we do from a process and a systems perspective, which is key to the success and scalability of businesses. A lot of people think having just a product or service is enough. Trust me, that's less than 10% of what you actually need to have in place in order to have a successful business. And we work with some corporates from an enterprise and supply development perspective, which I know is a conversation that has been had over the last few years. My team and I are accredited and certified by a few business partners that we work with worldwide, some are locally. And these are just some of the clients that we worked with over the last couple of years. Some are large businesses, as you can see, and you may be thinking that we do ESD for some of them, but just like small businesses, a lot of these corporates also need processes, systems, and support, because things are moving so fast that not everybody knows actually what is what, you know. A lot of people will typically know their product, their service, they'll know their business, their industry, but please don't ever fool yourself and think that you can actually compete with somebody who does this on a day-to-day basis. I hope that makes sense. Because that's like saying, I can compete with you in terms of what you know from your product or service, okay? So knowledge, information is key, but more than that, expertise are more valuable now. So it's not just about picking up a book or reading a couple of articles online and think that you can sort of perceive the information, all that's required in order to help you take your business forward. Business is very competitive. There's a lot happening. It's very important that you seek out help wherever you can. So I'm sure you guys know this, that a lot of businesses fail. Fundamentally, this is key, what I'm going to show you. One of the reasons that businesses fail, who's read the book, The E-Myth? Anyone? Martin, I know you have. Okay, this is one of the business Bibles out there that all entrepreneurs need to read. This book was published in 1986, I believe, by Michael E. Gerber. And basically, at the core of the message around this book is the following, okay? The E stands for entrepreneurial myth. Now, the myth is just because you are great at providing a particular service or you have some skills in providing a particular service or product, it does not automatically translate to mean that you will be able to run a successful business that provides a product or service. Does that make sense? Can anybody tell me why? Why does it not automatically translate?
Business is not one-dimensional.
Okay, business is not one-dimensional. What's closer to that? The truth is you have a skill in something else. You have a skill in your product or your service, but you don't have a skill in what it truly takes to run a business, which are the business management skills. Okay? So a lot of you, and there's nothing wrong with it, it's the natural order of things. A lot of us start as technicians. A technician is pretty much somebody who's technically inclined or technically skilled in order to provide a particular service or product. Does that make sense? Okay. What you need to do is evolve from being a technician. Number one is realize that you've been caught in this myth where you believe your product or service skill is enough to help you become a successful entrepreneur, but actually where you are as a technician. And I'm not trying to downplay who you are or where you are. It's important that you get the context that's going to help you to get to the next level. Now, how do you define an entrepreneur? What is an entrepreneur? Sorry, am I sitting with entrepreneurs in the room?
Yeah.
So what is an entrepreneur?
Passionate person who takes some risks.
So, Ellen, one of my friends and business partners, right? We do this for a living, okay? My mother is passionate. My mother took a risk when she started out learning how to become a teacher, okay? So my mother has gone to college, has been a teacher for nearly 30 years if I'm not mistaken. She told me a couple of years ago that the risk she took in learning and becoming a teacher, that she didn't take the right, she didn't make the right decision because she realizes that her retirement package is not going to be enough to sustain herself. She was passionate about teaching. She took a risk. Does that make her an entrepreneur?
No.
Sorry?
No.
Does it make an entrepreneur?
No.
So a lot of us have context and definitions around what entrepreneurship is, but I don't think it's actually close to the truth. Right? If we don't have the right definitions to the problems that we're trying to solve, at least the meaning of the words, what is the likelihood that we'll actually achieve the success that we want to achieve? Let me give you a definition that we like to use. An entrepreneur is somebody who owns a business that does not rely on him or her to run successfully. Let me repeat that. An entrepreneur is someone who owns a business that does not depend on him or her to run successfully. Anybody agree or disagree with that definition?
Agreed.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. And a business person. A business owner. So, I guess you can be an entrepreneur but not own a business. Right? You know, there's some businesses who own small portions rather, of equity in the business that they run. Okay? And also, something that we need to understand is that owning shares in your business does not necessarily equate to you owning the business. Because shares are independent to the business. Okay? But again, that's a discussion for another day. What I want to leave you with is this definition. Where you are, or at least where most of you are here. You need to evolve to become a manager and ultimately become that entrepreneur that runs a process-dependent business. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Right, now I'm going to share with you some of those concepts that you can utilize and implement in becoming that successful entrepreneur. I do have a lot of slides, some I'm going to skip for the purpose of, in the interest of time. Speaking to the business model canvas. The business model canvas was developed by Alex Osterwilder just over 10 years ago as part of his MBA thesis, and it has now become the standard around the world, used by millions and millions of business people to actually design, innovate, and challenge business models that will take products and services and help businesses to actually implement and apply them in the market. Okay. This workshop typically takes a full day. I'm going to cover as much as I can in the next hour and maybe 10 minutes. Right? There are some key boxes or key segments that I'm going to cover, which is the value proposition, customer segments, a little bit around customer relationships and revenue streams. The right-hand side, okay, facing that way, is truly the most critical of the business model canvas. Now, the minute you have as much of this down, then you don't need that much effort. So if we do run out of time and are unable to actually cover the left-hand side, just know that once you have the right-hand side of the business model canvas, you should easily be able to cover the rest. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Is everybody fine, guys?
Sure.
All right. Does it sound interesting enough? Okay, fantastic. I'm going to be challenging you quite a bit. So let me play you a video. It's about 2 minutes to kind of give you context of what the business model canvas is all about, and then I'll jump into the rest of the presentation.
business model can be described with 9 basic building blocks: your customer segments, your value proposition for each segment, the channels to reach customers, customer relationships you establish, the revenue streams you generate, the key resources and key activities you require to create value, the key partners, and the cost structure of the business model. But it's not sufficient to just enumerate the 9 building blocks. What you really want to do is to map them out on a pre-structured canvas. This is what we call the business model canvas, the tool that helps you map, discuss, design, and invent new business models. Let's briefly go through the 9 building blocks, starting with the customer segments. These are all the people or organizations for which you're creating value. This includes simple users and paying customers. For each segment, you have a specific value proposition. These are the bundles of products and services that create value for your customers. The channels describe through which touchpoints you're interacting with customers and delivering value. The customer relationships outline the type of relationship you're establishing with your customers. The revenue streams make clear how and through which pricing mechanisms your business model is capturing value. Then you need to describe the infrastructure to create, deliver, and capture value. The key resources show which assets are indispensable in your business model. The key activities show which things you really need to be able to perform well. The key partners show who can help you leverage your business model, since you won't own all key resources yourself, nor will you perform all key activities. Then once you understand your business model's infrastructure, you'll also have an idea of its cost structure. So with the business model canvas, you can map out your entire business model in one image. This works for startup entrepreneurs just as well as for the most senior executives.
Alright, fabulous. Okay, so really the business model canvas can help you to develop a business strategy. Okay. Alan was telling me outside that it's very important to learn, but it's just as important to unlearn. Okay? I'm going to ask you to just, everything that you came in here with, just park it for a little bit, pay as much attention as you can, and just let's all think together. I'm going to share with you a whole new concept around what your business could potentially look like, and maybe some ideas that you can implement in 2019. Okay, so some people think that the business model canvas is only applicable for small businesses, but I'm sure you'd be surprised to know that businesses like Nescafe or Nestle at the time actually utilized the business model canvas in order to develop the new concept, which you've probably seen, Nespresso. You've seen these cute little machines, right? Now, Nestle was experiencing a lot of competition. You know, these days you walk into a supermarket, you go to the coffee aisle, there's just coffee, coffee, coffee for Africa, you know what I mean? Now, if you, like myself, don't really care much about coffee, you grab the nearest can that's closest to you, right? So you don't have to deal with the mess that's on those aisles. But then you have a different type of customer segment, people who truly love coffee. Who in the room truly loves coffee as an experience? Right. Now, if you look around the room, there are only a few hands that are up, right? And that is truly reflective of the market that Nespresso or Nestle actually attacked, because these people are the kind, and you know what, take a look at the people who put their hands up. Put your hand up. These are nice, articulate people who are just distinguished, you know what I mean? And that's the market that they actually went out for, because these people are the kind of people who would be willing to pay 10 times the price of a coffee can for the machine and the pods. Does it make sense? Right? So just because you thought about a gardening service business, there's nothing wrong with it, security guard, whatever the business is, start thinking outside the box. I'm going to give you quite a lot of ideas that you can apply, i.e., are you actually speaking to the right target market? Alright, so in a nutshell, they then seek business partners or key partners. You remember one of the boxes in the business model canvas is key partners? Yeah. So they went out and looked for coffee machine manufacturers. They partnered with them, and what they pretty much did is they started selling coffee machines. If you haven't checked out Nespresso, the Nespresso shop at Santon City, please go and check it out, okay? Because if you go there are guys who welcome you as you walk in. They're dressed in suits. You know, you go in there, you are really treated like royalty. And again, this is to establish that experience that the people who buy these machines are really buying into. It'll make sense shortly. But basically, Nespresso grew by about 30% annually for a few years. because they redesigned their business model after seeing how much competition they were facing out there. All right. Google. Who is Google's customer? Who's Google's customer? Who's Google's customers? All of us. You're wrong. Okay? What is a customer? Someone who pays. Do you pay to use Google? And don't tell me you buy airtime, because airtime goes to Vodacom and all the telecoms. Okay. So it's primarily the advertisers who are Google's customers, or at least primary customers. Okay? And the rest of us are what's called users. We are a different kind of customer, but we're not necessarily a primary customer. Okay? This speaks to how you could potentially design your business model as well. I.e., it's not only the people who use your services or primarily use the services that could become your primary customer. Okay? So looking at Google's business model at a very high level, they have most of us who are the users, we use Google, and in combination with other content creators, we then create enough content for advertisers, value for advertisers in order for them to advertise around the content. Make sense? Start thinking about those things. And speaking to content, it is said that every business should consider becoming a publishing house. Because if you're not creating content, you are getting left behind in terms of your ability to find customers, or for customers to actually find you out there in the world. So start thinking about how you can become a publisher yourself to some degree. Let's think about your average mom and pop's florist shop. Okay? People who sell flowers at a shopping center or wherever. How much money do you think they make in a month? Average. Take a guess. There isn't really a correct or incorrect answer. Take a guess. How much do you think they make per month? 50,000? Any other guesses? 80, 100? Like I said, there really isn't an answer, and I'm sure the both of you, or all of you are correct, because it also depends where they're based, right? Okay. Now, how much do you think Net Forest makes per month? A bit more? How much more? 500,000. So when Net Forest opened just over 10 years ago, in their first week they made more than most florists will make in a year. Okay, you know how they did that? They both selling the same product. They both selling flowers, but the one is using a different business model, using e-commerce as a platform. I could be in Italy, I can phone Johannesburg or wherever it is, and flowers could be delivered in Cape Town. Make sense? Can your average mom and pop's flower shop do that? They can't, because they're using a completely different business model. Right? Business models can really help you to scale your business. Right? And that's the beauty of scaling, is that once you have the right kind of platform, just like Net Forest did, is they were able to build on top of the existing model, just like Uber did, right? Because there's Uber Eats now, there's Uber other things, right? If I'm not mistaken, they're even also delivering alcohol and so forth. They'll do other things for you, right? Now think about the platform that you could build from a business model perspective that will help you to scale. And I'll show you 3 key things, 3 criteria that you need in order for your business to become scalable. Am I making sense so far? Yeah. Is everybody still enjoying themselves? Yeah. Cool. Now, I'm sharing with you a couple of examples of what business models look like. Okay? When it comes to Chisanyama, you can either own a price Nyana Bokasi, or even close to the, call it taxi ranks, or wherever you'll find a lot of people who buy pap and meat, etc., right? But the scalability of your business is only that much, right? You could either be that person, or you could be like Stelio Nathaniel, who then took the same concept and converted it into a multi-million rand annual per year franchise. Okay, guess how much he made from selling this business? 60 million rand. How many Chisanyama entrepreneurs do you know that are selling dry meats on the side of the road can make 60 million? How many? Right? The difference is the business model. Okay? I'm going to show you the building blocks that create that sustainable business model. And here's the funny thing. I believe it was his wife who did you remember the fish and chips with the soccer star? Yes. I believe it was his wife who did the same thing. She also ranked up close to 60 million rands, because both of them, I think, sold their franchises to famous brands. Taste Holdings, thank you. Okay, guys, you can take an existing product that you can come up with. You can sit down with your partners or with other interesting people or other smart people and design the kind of business model that will help you design a business model that could churn out 60 million bucks. Who would be happy with 60 million bucks? Thank you. Right? I don't mind even if it was just a 10%, right? Okay. So think about, again, continue thinking about the business model. Do you have a question? Yeah, sure. So let me just see if this works. Please pass this through. Thank you.
I just wanted to ask, okay, Chisanyama and your fish and chips were really large franchises. What happened to them? They're not as big as they used to be.
Good question. Thank you. I personally don't have the answer. It don't matter. Just what your opinion is. What is your opinion?
They grew too fast.
Okay.
They grew too fast. By the time it started going down, because I worked with them, it was about 300 outlets.
Wow.
And the distribution center that they had was not capable of supplying all the franchisees. So you'll find someone in Tabanchu who's got a Chisanyama running out of chicken, and then he then just decides to go buy from somewhere else, so that already messes up the franchise model.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so these are some of the issues I did mention to you, that business processes are also key, because those will be key in ensuring that they deliver. But this is the beauty about you being an entrepreneur, okay? Don't get too much married to your business idea, okay? Because these people checked out with 60 million bucks. Why do you still need to worry whether the brand is going to work or not? Okay? But that's what typically happens. Be an entrepreneur, go out there, design a business model and sell out, and sell if you can. Not sell out. Sell out. If you can. Sell out. Thank you. All right. Kota Joe, same story. How much does the average Kota spaza shop in the township make per month? How much? 40, 50,000, right? There is a nice story though that G.G. Alcock did in the book Casinomis. He says there's a guy who sells Kotas. He arrived at a Chrysler somewhere with 2 bags full of money because they wouldn't give him a loan, and just bought a Jeep, like cash. Right? Because he had one of the biggest Kota spazas out there, but there isn't too many of those out there, right? Again, same concept, product, however, you get some young white guys out there who see a product that's selling and they're like, okay, what can we do with this, right? They sat down, looked at a business model canvas, and they came up with the Kota Joe franchise, also in the tens of millions per annum, right? Guys, don't just sit with your product or service thinking you've got a business. You don't have a business, all you have is a product or service. Hopefully this will ignite your ability to think and see how you can apply business model innovation in order to take your business to the next level. All right, I'm sure you've seen the likes of Uber, LinkedIn, and all of these companies, Airbnb. They don't own a single hotel room, but they are what? Close to 100 billion rands now in terms of market cap. Amazing, right? They took a concept that's an existing concept, they realized how can we maximize on the opportunity by tagging in or integrating other players in the market. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how you can start doing that. Alright, I'm going to save this maybe for later. Alright, in order for you to create a scalable business, please take notes. There are 3 things your business model needs to have. Number 1, obviously, it's got to unlock value for your customers, okay? It's got to be valuable, in other words, right? Now, a lot of us think just because we've got something to sell that it's automatically valuable to the next person. Do not judge the value of your product or service using your own perception. You do need to go out there in the market and actually find out what kind of value do you truly unlock. And I'm going to share with you again some of these concepts that will help you understand what value is. A lot of entrepreneurs think they are doing themselves a favor or they are securing their businesses by not being able to teach what they do to other people. When your staff come in or when you start hiring people or working with other people, it is key that you have the ability to actually teach what you do, i.e. so you can scale. Because if there's one other person or 10 other people who provide the service that you do from within your business in the way that it's supposed to be delivered, then your business scales. But what we do, unfortunately, is we protect what we do so much to a point where When we are sick, we're not feeling well, or we are on leave, the same thing happens to our business. Okay? If you want to grow your business, simplify your products, your service. We call it productizing, right? You see how you go into McDonald's, you can see all the different meals. You can choose meal number 1, meal number 3. That's called productizing. You are simplifying the process for your clients to actually be able to choose what you offer. Okay? Speaking about McDonald's teaching, right? One of the people, McDonald's actually got one of the highest staff turnover because people leave. And they leave so much because who wants to stand in front of a fryer and all they do all day long is just flip the burgers, right? You want to simplify your business to that extent, right? Where anybody who comes into your business in as quick as 2 hours can learn what they need to do in order to provide your service. Okay? Trust me, you want to simplify your business that way. And lastly, you want to make it repeatable. In other words, the customer needs to keep coming back. And also what you provide also needs to be something that is continuously recurring. Meaning if somebody is getting value from you today, you know, how do we make sure they come back next week, right? Going back to that Nespresso example, you buy the machine, you are locked in, then you keep coming back because you keep buying the pods. You know the little pods that you make coffee with, right? You never stop buying those. Okay, so find a way to actually get people to provide a recurring, or rather find a way to make your business provide a recurring revenue stream. Again, I'm going to share with you 9 different ways that you can do that. Some of you, your products and services are inherently recurring. You are just not maximizing on your ability to actually create that value and show your clients how you can create recurring value for them while you create recurring revenue streams. Are we still good?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, value proposition. What is the definition of value proposition? You should not be in business if you don't know what this definition is, because it is key to what you do. What is the definition? Something that the customer perceives to be of value. Thank you. Just by the way, I've got four books I'm giving away, okay? At the end. Right?
The pain in the market.
Sorry?
When you sold the pain in the market, you're doing a very proposition.
Thank you. I'm going to give you a classical or dictionary definition. Value proposition is defined by the bundle of benefits and advantages that your customers get from dealing with your company or from utilizing your products or services. Okay? What is the bundle? Not the single thing, i.e., when somebody asks you what is your value proposition and you are a security company, don't say we provide security, right? What value do you provide? You provide security, but what is the value? Thank you. Do you see that? Okay. The more you understand the context of value proposition, there's a whole lot more that you can do. Some examples. Why do people go to PEP? It's cheap, right? Remember what I just said. It may be cheap, but why do people go? What is the value of going somewhere where it's cheap? You get to save money. Okay, so now people go to PEP to buy different things, from airtime, school uniform, clothing, baby products, etc., right? But they go primarily because of the main value proposition, which is to save. Now, what is your value proposition? What value proposition do you provide? Another example, while you think, I'm buying you a few seconds. Okay, why do people go to Woolworths? Quality. Whether it's perceived or not, it's the value proposition that the market knows, right? For people to go to Woolworths, they're not going there to buy airtime, to buy clothes, to buy etc., groceries and whatnot. They are going there to buy quality. Does it make sense? Yes. Now, what is your value proposition? Okay? So if people who you generally provide a service to, you typically give them a 48-hour turnaround time, you could charge people extra as a recurring revenue for a 2-hour turnaround time. Okay? That's cheap money. That's cheap income that you could create. Because what you are selling to people is more of a security, and more than security, what's the nice phrase that I can use? Peace of mind, so to speak. Right? And they're paying for it. People would rather pay for the peace of mind so they don't worry. Should something break that they know, you can then, service them, so to speak. Right? Is this making sense? Not that service then.
No, so just a brief image.
Okay. So the membership website model, this is typically websites that have, special content that you need to actually purchase to get through some sort of a gate via the website for you to access content on the other side. A lot of you, if not all of you, have expertise in the products and services that you provide. But what you're not doing is you're not sitting down to put in the work and the time to actually develop content into format, whether it's video, whether it's blog articles, whether it's ebooks or whatever the case may be. And you can literally sell that content. Okay, you can literally sell it. 10 years ago, that's what I did when I initially started out in this business. I started out in the payroll business, believe it or not. And one of the things that was a big challenge was entrepreneurs, as still today, don't necessarily care about pay slips, isn't it, Anne? Right? And so we were selling payroll information, we were selling payroll services and accounting, and like you would perceive or you would think that, hey, entrepreneurs who don't have these things need them, so they will buy them. What a dumb mistake. Right? But what we did is we turned the situation around, and because we used to teach a lot about this information, it was very expensive lessons that we were teaching because we would teach people over months before they would buy. And so what we did is we took this content, put it on a CD, right? And we sold this CD for about $150. So instead of us actually spending time teaching people, we would sell them the lesson, right? It was a workshop based on a payroll, and it was so smart at the time that Entrepreneur Magazine actually got us interviews, and we got quite a bit of media back then. And it's just something that we started implementing every year. We kind of find small little, it's called soft innovation, finding little ways to actually create innovations that keep your customers interested, and you can actually sell it. All right. So as I mentioned, we've got the A-Game online, the A-Game Business online course. Another gift that I'm going to give to you guys, courtesy of Sam. I'm going to give you a website, a URL at the end. We are going to choose 10 people that we're going to give an online course to that's for 6,000 Rand. You're going to have access to it for 2 months, over the next 2 months. And I will be there over the next 2 months to actually guide you through that system, right? So courtesy of Sam, if you're going to thank anyone, thank Sam, okay? I'm going to give you the URL where you will apply, because we need to find very specific people that we're going to give the course to, okay? But again, this is a membership website model, so you can build online courses. Again, you have expertise, you have skills. Put those skills down on paper, whether it's in video, ebooks, or whatever the case may be, to create it. All right. Sorry? No, it's more than simulation, it's a workshop. It's a workshop, yes. So what I'm showing you today is one of the courses that's actually in the online course as well. All right. Another model, remember we're talking different revenue streams, another model that you can use, another stream rather, that you can use, is called a simplifier model. What it does, and I'm sure only now you started seeing car wash companies popping up everywhere, where you subscribe per month and they'll come and actually wash your car, right? They've taken a traditional business and said, hey, how can we innovate the business model? And they've implemented a subscriber-based type model. All right, 1 more minute. I see Derek is standing up. Don't watch it.
When you start doing this, then you know
okay,
you're
cool.
there.
So I'll keep going. Actually, you know what? I'll do better. I'll face this whole slide.
Now that's innovation.
Innovation in action.
So write this down. The $1 Shaver Club. $1 Shaver Club. You must go and check it out. I'm sure some of you have seen it. These guys realized that when guys who shave, right? When do they realize that their blades are finished? When you are shaving. Okay. And so what these guys did is they created a subscription model where you pay $1 a month and you get, I think, 3 razors. Guess how much they sold to Gillette for, I think, 2 years ago perhaps? Just over $1 billion US. Imagine. A guy who was frustrated with shaving said, okay, I'm sure this problem is a problem that other people have, right? He found suppliers in China, did a silly video, go check it out on YouTube. I think it's been viewed like 14 million, that video, right? And basically guys pay off ladies, because I know you shave as well, right? they will actually pay a dollar a month. Subscription-based model, you get razors delivered at your doorstep, right? They were taking so much business from Gillette. Gillette realized they need to buy these guys. They paid these guys 1.5 billion US dollars. Okay? Now multiply that by 15. Perfect business model innovation, something that you can do on a napkin, so to speak. You understand what I'm saying? Guys, business model innovation is key. It's critical to scalability. Same thing will happen. We'll see more and more grocery subscriptions happening. How's it? Good. In stationery and other things. So some of you are providing these commodities, but you're not necessarily innovating how you could potentially scale that business. There are many ideas out there that you can actually implement. We spoke about peace of mind earlier. This is typically the insurance model, right? Car repairs or roof repairs, right? Where somebody would rather pay you a subscription-based model. Car repairs is actually one that isn't that famous, that isn't used often. So if you know a guy who fixes cars, get them or advise them to use the subscription-based model called Peace of Mind for them to get their customers to pay them every month, and when the car breaks down or whatever the case may be, they can sort them out without having to pay a premium, so to speak. Or they pay a small fee, and then depending on the damage, they'll pay a premium. Don't you think that's a smart idea? It could scale. It could scale, especially in a country where 70% of cars are actually second-hand and uninsured, in case you're interested. Right. Same thing could happen with electrical maintenance, right? And plumbing. If we have plumbers or guys who do electrical maintenance services, they could use this model where we pay them a small fee like $100 or $250 depending on the size of the home. When we have problems, we simply call them. They come and fix and they go away. We don't pay them anything. Don't you think that's smart? Think about how you could do that for your business. I'm not saying start an electrical business or plumbing business. I'm saying take these concepts and see how you can apply them in your business. Guys, in the interest of time, those boxes I just showed you are very critical. The rest will not be that difficult. Because I want to respect you, I want to respect Sam and his people, I'm going to officially end here. I will skip to the end where I'll show you my contact details and we'll take it from there. I hope this session was useful and that you've learned a lot today.
Thank you.
Awesome. Getting there. There we go. So, as I said, 10 people will get 2 months access to the business online course. You're not going to get charged anything. I'm not trying to sell you anything. There's a scientific innovation process that we are following through, and we've been asked to test this model where we provide you with a course. So please do apply, and how you apply, you go to agamebusiness.com. There's a blue button on the website. You click there. It actually speaks to something else. Just ignore that. There's a form you need to fill out. It's about 4 or 5 fields. You fill them out. As soon as you fill them out, another form will pop up. There's a couple of questions that you fill out. If you are interested and you want to get business coaching from us and access to the online course, fill in those details. Some emails will be sent to us notifying that you've applied, and then we'll come back to you. And again, we can only choose 10. And also, 1 book is going to the gentleman. There are 3 remaining. Sam, how would you like to give those 3 books away?
I think I have insight.
Sorry?
Decision. That's the value I added.
Okay, she's going to get a book. Choose 1 person. Diro, no. Diro's not getting one. Diro's my boy, and I'll give you one. I'll give you one. Let's not take away from the people who are there. Who else? Thank you. I'm going to give you one. Because he wants the book, actually. That's how many?
I want
So that's 1, 2, 3.
I want one for
Yes.
participation.
It's the first one,
No,
for me.
I want to give it to the lady. Okay, is that good? Please come and see me afterwards or Martin. Alright, what else is there? Guys, we do free consultation whenever we can. Okay, the capacity is an issue now. These are my details. This number is on WhatsApp only. Please don't try and do a normal call. Office number. They'll always tell you I'm not available because I'm not always available. I'm always not available. Okay, just leave a message. Make sure you leave your email address, and I'll do my best to call you back. But the best way, please go to our website, click on the blue button, fill in the details, and then we'll see you on the other side. Thank you very much.